Hi, my name is Mitzi Smith. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to be preparing a dessert for a dinner party. So I've decided to do a version of my very favorite Italian dessert, tiramisu. I'm going to be making tiramisu dessert cups. And of course, the star is Philadelphia cream cheese. So the first thing that we want to do is soften some gelatin. So I'm going to be using 1/4 ounce of powdered gelatin, that's 1 packet, and we're going to soften it or let it bloom in 2 ounces of water. So I've already done that for us and it's starting to set up very nicely. So I'm going to put that aside for right now. The other thing that we want to do is prepare our dessert cups. We want to start with the sponge cake dessert shells that you can purchase right in your grocery store. Usually they're used for strawberry shortcake, but they work really well for this. What you do is just cut off 1/4 inch off the top of each dessert shell, and then you fit it into a dessert glass. Alright, so you want to go ahead and prepare 6 dessert cups this way. We'll put that aside for the moment. The next thing that we want to do is brew some espresso, and I've already done that here. I've brewed about 1 cup of espresso, and I used 1½ tablespoons of espresso grounds to do that. So I'm going to add that to 2 tablespoons of Marsala wine and a teaspoon of sugar. We've already got that in the cup, so we're going to go ahead and pour our espresso in there. Our cream cheese has been beat. We're going to need to go ahead and melt our gelatin. So we're going to put that in a saucepan, and we're going to just gently heat it up until all the gelatin granules have dissolved. It really takes very little time, and you want to put it on kind of a low heat. So let's go ahead and get that in our saucepan. And you'll know when it's done because it will become clear, all the granules will have dissolved, and it really won't need to be hot. It won't be that warm at all. Okay, so there we go. And we've got our cream cheese all beat. The other thing you can do while your gelatin is melting, you want to take 2 cups of heavy cream, and you just want to whip that to soft peaks. The other thing we want to get started is the cream cheese that we're going to be using. You want to take 6 ounces of softened cream cheese and put it in the mixer with a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste. And I like vanilla bean paste because it's thick and it's rich and it has the vanilla bean specks in there. It adds such character and such wonderful flavor to whatever you're making. You also want to throw in 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. You want to beat that until it's really, really creamy. So while your mixer is going at slow, you want to go ahead and see it's not very hot at all. You can touch it. You don't want it boiling. You're going to go ahead and carefully pour that into the cream cheese. We're going to get that mixing up. Alright, so we've got all that in there. Let's turn the stove off. Now you want to make sure you scrape down your bowl. This step is really, really important because you want to get all the gelatin distributed evenly through your cream cheese. So there we go. This already smells so good with the vanilla in here. I think that is the basis for so many wonderful desserts with Philadelphia cream cheese. The cream cheese and the vanilla and the sugar. Can't really beat it. Alright, so we're going to get that nicely mixed. It's great. Okay, the next step in this recipe is to fold our softly whipped cream into the cream cheese mixture. Now we do not want to deflate this whipped cream. Not whipped very high, but just enough to add an airiness to this dessert that cannot be beat. So we really don't want to lose that. So what we're going to do, take our bowl here, we're going to lighten the cream cheese a little bit with some of the whipped cream. Just going to give it a nice stir. And this step here, you want to go ahead and get it nice and mixed in really well. And there we go. And then what you're going to do is fold in the rest of the whipped cream. So you'll go ahead and put all of it in. Okay. Here we go. And when you're folding, you're incorporating two ingredients by folding. The idea is to sweep through the middle, lift up from the bottom, and turn the bowl. And this way, you get it incorporated, but you don't deflate your whipped ingredient. In our case, it's whipped cream. I'm going to put that aside for the minute. What we're going to do to start assembling our dessert, the first thing, we're going to take our coffee and marsala and sugar mixture, and we are going to soak the sponge cake at the bottom of the glass. This is a very classic part of the tiramisu dessert. Make sure that it's really well soaked, because the cake you want to be very moist, and that's the purpose of the coffee. Alright, so I think that one looks pretty good. You can tell by the sides if it's soaked enough, and that one looks really good. So then the next thing you want to do is dollop on the cream mixture. So let's get a spoon here. Alright, so you just want to dollop it in there until it's about halfway up your dessert cup. And don't worry, we clean these up later before we serve it. Okay, so get your cream in there. Get another cake. So you're going to go ahead and get that into your dessert cup. Just push it down gently. There you go. And that too gets soaked with the espresso. And you just want to make sure you get enough on here. Typical tiramisu, or original tiramisu I should say, is made with mascarpone cheese, which is a wonderful cheese. It's like an Italian cream cheese. So of course Philadelphia cream cheese works well as a substitute for this recipe. And it's a little less expensive. It's really kind of easy on the budget. So I turn to it a lot. Alright, so we want to get that second piece of cake nice and saturated with our espresso mixture. I can't tell you how good that smells to me right now. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do, of course, is top it with the cream cheese mixture. There we have the beginnings of that dessert. In fact, it's almost the end. The last thing that we're going to do before we put these in the refrigerator to chill is dust them with cocoa powder. And you just want to dust the top of it with the cocoa powder. And of course, this too is an integral part of tiramisu. That little dusting of cocoa powder on top. Look how pretty that is. Alright, so then that is where we are going to end to put them in the refrigerator. They're going to set up beautifully because that gelatin in our cream mixture. And when we take it out, we're going to garnish it and we're going to taste it. We're back. I've gone ahead and prepared all 6 dessert cups, and I'm going to show you how to garnish the one. Remember, we dusted it with cocoa before we put it in the refrigerator to chill. It's been in there for about an hour. So we're going to go ahead and decorate this one that we have left so I can show you how it's done. So let's move these over here. I've whipped 1 cup of heavy cream with 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla. I've put it in a pastry bag. You don't have to do that if you don't have one. Just dollop it on there. It'll still be just as pretty and just as tasty. So I'm going to go ahead and I just put a little decorative border. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You don't have to be a pastry chef to do this. Alright. And 1 little one in the middle. And there we go. The other thing that I really love, just to add a little touch of elegance, is grated chocolate. I think this is fabulous, and I'm a chocoholic. So, this works out really well for me. Alright, there we go. And one little thing I got to tell you about this dessert. I did chill these for an hour because I made them a little bit ahead, and I was able to get them in the refrigerator. But if for some reason you can't, you don't need to. You can eat it as soon as you make it. So there you have it. Now, why don't we take a little taste? That is so good. It is so creamy. I taste the vanilla, the espresso, the chocolate, the cocoa. You really can't ask for more. This is a great dessert. I hope you get a chance to try it.